It's just different. That's what I always say when someone says to me, isn't motherhood the most amazing thing? It's something I always think to myself. What I don't tell these mostly well-meaning interlopers is that Whit was never even a blip on my radar. In fact, it was quite the opposite. He was an unidentified object that appeared from nowhere. Before you roll your eyes and say, oh, not another story of an unexpected pregnancy turned triumph, let me just assure you, this is not that kind of story. Let me set the scene. Picture it, Cancun, an all-inclusive resort. The only thing separating the luxurious pool, complete with swim-up bar, from the gloriously emerald green ocean was the stretch of toffee-colored beach lined with royal blue cabanas. My husband and I were on vacation. It was long overdue, too. We had both started new jobs earlier in the year. His took him to Germany for 4 months. Mine had me splitting time between North Carolina and South Carolina. A vacation was just what we needed, and this place, it was our jam. We slept, we ate, we drank, we relaxed. By our third day, we had settled in effortlessly and adapted to the easy, lavish lifestyle that our deluxe, all-inclusive vacation package afforded us. That's when the most brilliant idea struck us. A symbiotic thought that occurred without discussion. Instead, it just happened. We looked at each other and telepathically concluded not to have kids. The next 5 minutes were spent high-fiving in the pool as the full realization truly sunk in that without kids, we could afford 2 incredible all-inclusive vacations a year. One full-bodied hug and a number of kisses later, I scream, "Dinks, dual income, no kids. We can have 2 of these a year. Waiter, bring us another round." So it was decided. Right there in the middle of the beachside pool with swim-up bar, we were going to be dinks. The vacation went on. We would do this twice a year, we vowed. My husband could have his man cave, he proclaimed. Dual income, no kids. When we returned home, I planned to get an IUD. After 3 years of birth control-less marriage, we hadn't even had a close call, and neither of us was yearning for anything other than the family that we made, our dynamic duo. I didn't feel empty or sad or barren, like society said I should feel at 35 years of babyless age. Instead, I was excited about the possibilities that would come with developing our marriage and fostering our own friendship. Besides, I could have an all-inclusive vacation twice a year, and my husband could have his man cave. So I made an appointment with a new OBGYN, and things were on the up and up. As I was getting ready for work in early December, my phone chirped with the sound of a calendar reminder. It said, "Reminder, your OBGYN appointment is on Friday." That's when it hit me. Like a ton of bricks. This new doctor would surely ask me the date of my last period. I couldn't remember. Holy shit. For the first time since I was 12 years old, I had no idea when my last period was. So I took a test. I didn't have to wait the full 3 minutes for the double line to appear. They practically appeared when I pulled it out of the wrapper. I was pregnant. I walked back into the bedroom and I screamed through my tears, "Well, we have to get rid of the man cave and we aren't going back to Mexico ever again. You're going to be a dad." My husband, hazy from his slumber, sat up and said, "Okay, but why do we have to get rid of the man cave?" Later that morning, I called to have the GYN appointment turned into an OB appointment. It was not my favorite phone call, and I wasn't happy. I was shocked and bewildered. It took me a hot minute to realize that it was okay that I was pregnant because I was in a healthy, happy marriage, and it wasn't a bad thing. It was just the way things were meant to be. Pregnancy is such a process to begin with, and by the end of it, I was ready to meet our little guy. After 18 hours, 2.5 of them pushing every 30 seconds, Whit reluctantly made his grand entrance, of course doing so after the epidural wore off. That should have been my first indication, but I was too exhausted and too completely clueless to pick up anything that the tiny human was putting down. In fact, the first year of motherhood wasn't the unicorns and rainbows that the moms on Facebook make it out to be. I look back now and fully understand that I spent the first year of Whit's infancy in complete shock. Perhaps this was due to the 18-month bout with double mastitis that landed me back in the hospital after a softball-sized abscess in my right breast exploded. I mean, I could have been in a pool in Mexico by the ocean with a swim-up bar. Instead, I was on IV drips, watching bad cable TV and eating hospital pudding, all the while beating myself up because my boobs were broken and I couldn't breastfeed. 2.5 years later, I have learned that motherhood has its challenges and kids have their own rules. Although our family may not be the dynamic duo I envisioned while lounging by the pool in Mexico, it is an impressive threesome. I won't tell you that my life is any better or any worse since Whit joined us. My life was pretty incredible to begin with, so it's really neither of those things. Instead, it's just different. But we aren't going back to Mexico anytime soon.